Peppa Pig and a camping trip. Peppa and her brother George are very excited. They're going on vacation. Daddy Pig is bringing a surprise.
What's that?
asks Peppa when Daddy Pig arrives. It's a camper van, says Daddy Pig. Yes, says Mummy Pig. We borrowed it for our trip. It does everything, says Daddy Pig. This button here is for the sink, and this one is for the beds.
Wow! The beds?
asks Peppa. Just wait, says Daddy Pig. This camper van is full of surprises. After a long drive, Peppa and her family arrive at the campsite. It's time for bed, says Daddy Pig.
But where will we sleep?
asks Peppa. Mummy Pig and I will sleep on this bed, says Daddy Pig. And you two will sleep upstairs like you always do, says Mummy Pig. Daddy Pig pushes a button. The camper van's roof is lifting up.
The camper van is just like our little house,
says Peppa. The next morning, the sun is shining. Since we're outdoors, let's spend the day looking at nature, says Mummy Pig. Good idea, says Daddy Pig. What should we do? Well, there's lots of fun places we can visit, said Mummy Pig. How about Duckland?
What's Duckland?
asked Peppa. It's a wide river full of ducks, says Mummy Pig.
Bonk, bonk.
Peppa and George love ducks.
Let's go to Duckland,
says Peppa. When they arrive at Duckland, Miss Rabbit gives them their tickets.
Enjoy the ducks, she says.
But the river is empty.
Where are the ducks?
asked Peppa. Maybe they're on vacation too, says Mummy Pig. Let's wait for them while we have our picnic lunch.
I don't like to wait, Mummy,
says Peppa. Cheer up, Peppa. The ducks always turn up when we have picnics, says Daddy Pig.
Bonk.
Look,
says Peppa.
it's the ducks.
There are lots of them.
Wow. All the ducks' brothers and sisters are here. And aunties and uncles, I bet, too,
says Peppa. What about Granny and Grandpa ducks? asked Mummy.
They're here too,
says Peppa.
the whole duck family. I love Duckland.
Soon it's time to head back to the campsite. Everybody in, says Daddy Pig. I know a shortcut back to camp.
A shortcut? Where are we going?
Straight ahead, says Daddy Pig. The camper van creeps towards the river's edge.
But Daddy,
says Peppa.
we can't drive into the water.
Don't worry, says Daddy Pig. Mummy Pig pushes a button on the dashboard. Like I said, this camper van does everything.
Wow.
Daddy Pig drives straight into the river. The camper van has turned into a boat. Ahoy! Peppa and her family arrive back at the campsite.
What will we do next?
Asked Peppa. How about a nature walk? Asked Mummy Pig. Splendid idea, says Daddy Pig. The camper van has a treadmill, of course. We'll set it up with a nice view of the trees. Peppa laughs.
But Daddy, we can just walk through the woods.
Peppa and George love to take walks outside. They spot lots of animals. They see a bird, a grasshopper and a hedgehog.
Hello, hedgehog,
says Peppa. Peppa and George keep walking.
Look at all the sticks on the ground,
says Peppa.
Daddy Pig told us to collect some on our nature walk. I wonder what they're for.
We'll use them to cook our dinner, says Mummy Pig. But first we have to pitch our tent.
Tent?
asked Peppa.
What about the camper van?
No camper van tonight, says Mummy Pig. We're going to sleep under the stars instead.
Wow!
Everyone helps pitch the tent. This is the same tent I had when I was a little boy, says Daddy Pig.
It looks a bit little,
says Peppa. It suited me just fine then, says Daddy Pig. Yes, but you've grown since then, Daddy Pig, says Mummy Pig.
And your tummy has grown most of all,
Peppa giggles. Speaking of tummies, it's time for supper, said Mummy Pig. Daddy Pig builds the fire. They all eat tomato soup. Time for bed, says Daddy Pig. Peppa and George snuggle into sleeping bags. Stars shoot across the sky above their heads. Do you miss the camper van, Peppa? asked Mummy Pig.
Oh no, says Peppa, unless it has a button for shooting stars.
They all giggle.
I love camping.
The end. Peppa Pig, Princess Peppa and the Royal Ball. Princess Peppa is excited for her family is having a ball at the castle tonight. Queen Mummy Pig and King Daddy Pig need help getting ready. There is so much to do before the party.
Can I invite my friends to the ball?
asked Princess Peppa. Of course, says Queen Mummy. Princess Peppa and Prince George go to the village. Princess Peppa invites her friends to the ball.
Hooray!
Hooray! They cheer. Everyone can come. Back at the castle, Grandpa Wizard is getting the ballroom ready.
Wow!
Princess Peppa wants to help. Grandpa Wizard uses his magic to make decorations appear from Princess Peppa's broom. Oh no! Some of the candles went out. Princess Peppa asks for help from a friendly dragon. Next, Princess Peppa helps King Daddy choose flowers for the table. They pick the best ones from the royal garden. Princess Peppa brings the flowers inside. "Thank you, Peppa. These are very pretty," says Queen Mummy. "Why don't you check on the desserts?" she asks Princess Peppa. Peppa goes to the kitchen. "What would you like to try?" the royal baker asks. "Everything, please," says Peppa says. This is the best job so far. The ballroom is ready. The food is ready. Everything is ready except Princess Peppa. She goes up to her room to change for the party. Ring! It is the doorbell. The guests are here. Princess Peppa welcomes them to her royal ball. A trumpet plays. Prince George arrives in the ballroom. Queen Mummy and King Daddy follow. Now the royal ball can begin.
Wow.
Everyone sings and dances along to the music. They eat yummy cakes and cookies. Thank you for making the royal ball so special, Princess Peppa, Queen Mummy says. And so yummy, King Daddy says. They all danced happily ever after. The end.
Hi kids, did you have fun watching this video? Then like and subscribe for more.
Peppa Pig, the official annual 2022. Snowy Mountain.
Wow.
Peppa and her family have come to the mountains to go skiing. The ski lift is there to carry everyone to the top of Snowy Mountain. It looks a bit high, says Daddy Pig nervously. Daddy Pig does not like heights. They get into the ski lift chairs and the safety bars come down. Whoa! Shouts Daddy Pig as they are lifted up into the air.
This is really fun,
cries Peppa. Oh, yes, says Daddy Pig. Really fun.
in the air, in a chair,
sings Peppa again and again. The ski lift soon reaches the top of Snowy Mountain. Daddy Pig isn't sure how to get out of the chair. Oh! he shouts, falling out of the lift and into the snow. When Peppa, George and Mummy Pig reach the top of the mountain, they find Daddy Pig totally covered in snow.
Daddy is a walking, talking snowman,
says Peppa, giggling. says Daddy Pig, shaking off all the snow. Skis, skis, get your skis here, calls Miss Rabbit from her ski hut. Hello, says Mummy Pig. Skis for 2 grown-ups and 2 children, please. There you go, says Miss Rabbit, handing over the skis. Yippee, says Peppa. Madame Gazelle is Peppa and George's ski teacher.
Will we ski all the way down the mountain?
asks Peppa. Not today, Peppa, says Madame Gazelle. We'll stick to the baby slope. To start, push off slowly with your sticks. To stop, point your skis together. The children copy Madame Gazelle. When they reach the bottom, Madame Gazelle shows the children the gold cup she won for being a world champion at skiing. The children are very impressed.
Wow!
Can we see you do some more skiing? Asked Peppa. Please. Very well, says Madame Gazelle. Madame Gazelle performs a ski routine with twists, turns, and a big jump. Oh! Gasped the children. That was amazing, says Daddy Pig. Yes, well, I was the world champion, says Madame Gazelle. Now which Mummy or Daddy would like a go? Why not, says Mummy Pig. Hooray! Are you sure, Mummy Pig? Says Daddy Pig. You haven't skied for years. It's like riding a bike, says Mummy Pig. You never forget. Which way does this go? All the way down the mountain, says Madame Gazelle. Mummy Pig sets off. Where are the brakes? She says to herself. Mummy Pig zooms down the mountain very quickly and onto the street below. Whoa, stand back, she shouts. Wow, my mummy is skiing super fast, says Peppa, watching from the top of the mountain. And she did a loop-the-loop.
Wow!
She can't stop, says Madame Gazelle. We have to catch up with her. Mummy Pig isn't sure how she is going to stop, but then she hits a big bank of snow. Everyone skis down to find her at the bottom of the mountain. Says Mummy Pig through the snow. My goodness, a walking, talking snowman, says Madame Gazelle. No, it's just my mummy, says Peppa. Mummy Pig shakes off all the snow. I have never seen such amazing skiing, says Madame Gazelle. This cup belongs to you. Madame Gazelle gives Mummy Pig her world champion skier's cap. Hooray! My mummy is the best at skiing down the mountain, says Peppa. Everyone laughs. The Tall Tree. Peppa and her family are visiting Madame Gazelle at her home. Hello, everyone, says Madame Gazelle, opening her creaky door. Come in. Hello, Madame Gazelle, says Peppa. As they step into the house, Peppa and George find themselves sliding down Madame Gazelle's hallway. Whee! Cries Peppa. Your hallway is a big slide. Is it meant to be like that? Asked Daddy Pig. No, says Madame Gazelle. The house is just old. In the living room, lots of things are leaning to one side. Everything here is a little bit wonky, Peppa gasped. Madame Gazelle, I think your house might need fixing, says Daddy Pig. He peers out the window and spots a tree pushing against the wall. Madame Gazelle takes him outside. It's my little Christmas tree from a long time ago, she explains. I didn't want to throw it away, so I planted it in the garden. Your little tree has grown so much it's pushing your house over, says Daddy Pig. I'll call Mr. Bull to see if he can help. That's a mighty fine tree you have there, Madame Gazelle, says Mr. Bull when he arrives. Strong roots. Yes, says Daddy Pig, but it's pushing the house over. Mr. Bull stands back to take a look. Oh yes, he says, let's chop it down. Before Mr. Bull chops the tree down, he must check that no animals are living in it. He gets a rope and a harness and uses them to climb the tree.
Wow!
Look at that, says Mr. Bull. Little birds are nesting in your tree, Madame Gazelle. Peppa George and Madame Gazelle go and see the birds from the window. Mr. Bull climbs higher up the tree. Peppa George and Madame Gazelle climb up higher in the house. Look what's here, says Mr. Bull.
Busy bees,
cries Peppa.
buzz.
Let's see what else there is, says Mr. Bull. Mr. Bull climbs higher up the tree. Peppa George and Madame Gazelle climb the stairs to the 3rd floor window. I say, look at this, whispers Mr. Bull.
It's an owl,
Peppa gasps. Whoo, says the owl. Onward and upward, says Mr. Bull, continuing to climb. Peppa George and Madame Gazelle reach the highest window in the house. Bats, says Mr. Bull, spotting some hanging upside down and fast asleep.
Wow.
Ah, my friends the bats, says Madame Gazelle. They remind me of the old country. Mr. Bull reaches up. But what's this? He asks, pulling down a piece of tinsel with a bauble on the end. Ah, my Christmas decorations, says Madame Gazelle. Mr. Bull pulls himself right to the very top of the tall tree and finds a Christmas fairy, he cries. Everyone agrees that, since Madame Gazelle's tree is a wonderful home to so many little animals, it should not be chopped down. Maybe to stop your house falling over, we could put it in the tree, says Daddy Pig. Mr. Bull uses his crane to lift up Madame Gazelle's house and puts it in the middle of the tree.
Wow.
I've always wanted a tree house, says Madame Gazelle. Thank you, everyone. All the animals love living in the tall tree. Madame Gazelle loves living in the tall tree. Wendy Wolf's birthday. Today is Wendy Wolf's birthday, and she has invited all her friends to her party.
Hooray!
Happy birthday, Wendy, her friends cheer.
Thank you, everybody,
says Wendy. Mr. Wolf is blowing up the balloons for the party. I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow these balloons up. He blows up lots and lots of balloons and bounces them over for the children to play with. I love balloons, cries Peppa, bouncing a red one up into the air.
Me too,
says Wendy.
and me,
Everyone agrees.
Let's try and keep them in the air,
says Freddy Fox. When the children have finished with the balloons, Mrs. Wolf asks,
Who wants to play with the bubbles? Me.
Everyone cheers.
Hooray!
Okay, says Mrs. Wolf.
I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow some bubbles.
Lots of bubbles float around and the children try to pop them.
Oh,
sighs Peppa.
We've popped all the bubbles. We can always make more,
says Mrs. Wolf.
Who wants a go?
Me, cry the children. Mrs. Wolf hands everyone bubble mixture and tells them to huff, puff and blow.
Wow!
The bubbles float all the way up into the sky.
Look at that big bubble,
says Pedro Pony, pointing. All the children look up.
That's not a bubble, Pedro. That's the full moon,
says Wendy.
When we will see one, we howl. Ow! Can you teach us to do that, Wendy?
asks Peppa.
Okay,
replies Wendy.
First you look up at the moon. Then you ow!
Wendy's friends look at the moon. Ow! They howl. When they finish, they hear another howl. Oh!
Who was that?
Gasped Peppa. The children hear the howl again and huddle together until Wendy's granny, Granny Wolf, pops up from the bushes.
Hooray! Oh, hello, Granny,
says Wendy.
Happy birthday, Wendy, cries Granny Wolf. And hello, Wendy's friends. Ow! Hello, Granny Wolf,
say Wendy's friends quietly.
My, what big ears you've got, Granny Wolf,
says Peppa.
All the better to hear you with,
replies Granny Wolf.
What big eyes you've got, Granny Wolf,
says Zoe Zebra.
All the better to see you with,
replies Granny Wolf.
And what big teeth you've got, Granny Wolf,
says Pedro.
All the better to eat birthday cake,
replies Granny Wolf, laughing. Hooray! Cheer all the children, looking at the lovely birthday cake Granny Wolf has brought for Wendy.
Wendy,
says Peppa,
what's that on the top of your cake? It's a little house made of sticks,
says Wendy.
Wow.
Mrs. Wolf tells Wendy it's time to blow out the candles.
I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow the candles out.
Wendy blows the candles out and blows the stick house down too.
My girl,
says Mrs. Wolf, and she turns to Daddy Pig.
What's your house made of, Mr. Pig?
Bricks, replies Daddy Pig.
Oh, of course,
she says.
That was my best party ever, thank you,
cheers Wendy Wolf.
Ow!
Ow! Ow! Everyone howls, Happy birthday! The end. Peppa Pig, Happy Hanukkah. Peppa and George are visiting their grandparents. Peppa smells something wonderful and potatoey.
I'm making latkes,
says Granny Pig.
A latkes is a potato pancake. It's what people eat on Hanukkah.
Wow.
What Hanukkah?
Peppa asks.
Hanukkah is a festival of lights,
replies Grandpa Pig.
People celebrate the Festival of Lights all over the world. Tonight we will celebrate too. Long ago there wasn't any electricity,
says Granny Pig.
Do you know what uses electricity?
Peppa thinks about it.
Television,
she says.
That's right, Peppa. There wasn't any television. There weren't any light switches either. Back then, you needed fire to see in the dark.
That gives Peppa an idea.
Let's play a game, she tells George.
We'll pretend we lived long ago when there was no electricity.
Peppa turns the light switch off. It's dark.
What can we do without light?
Granny Pig asks. Peppa thinks about it. Then she gets an idea.
We can make a fort.
Together, Peppa and George find cushions, pillows and a blanket. They build a fort with all of their materials.
Wow!
But just as Peppa is about to add the finishing touch, George knocks it down.
George,
Peppa says,
that wasn't very nice.
George giggles.
The pillows are everywhere.
Oh no!
Peppa can't see them because the lights are off.
I can't put the fort back together now,
Peppa says. Grandpa Pig has an idea.
Why don't we light a candle?
He asks. Grandpa Pig lights a candle and Peppa and George can see. Peppa and George start to put the fort back together. But before they're done, the candle has burned through.
Oh no!
It must have been very hard to live without electricity,
Peppa says. Granny Pig turns the lights back on.
Long ago, there was a light that lasted for 8 days,
she says.
We celebrate this miracle by lighting the candles on a menorah. It has 8 candles, and each night a new one is lit. Tonight is the 8th night of Hanukkah. So that means,
Grandpa Pig starts to say.
All the candles will be lit,
chimes Peppa. They also light the tallest candle in the middle. It is called the Helper.
Do you play any games on Hanukkah?
Peppa asks.
Yes,
Granny Pig says.
One of the games is called a dreidel. A dreidel is a spinning top. If you win, you get chocolates.
Peppa and George cheer. They like games. They like chocolate. Granny Pig gives every player a handful of chocolate coins. They each put one in the middle. Then she spins the dreidel. It lands on a little letter that is called a nun.
A nun means I don't get any chocolates,
Granny Pig explains.
Now it is the next player's turn.
Grandpa Pig spins the dreidel. He gets a letter called a shin.
Oh no!
Grandpa Pig grumbles.
A shin means I have to put a chocolate in. Go look, Peppa,
says Granny Pig.
What did the dreidel land on?
Peppa crawls under the table. It's a gimel.
That means you win all the chocolates in the middle,
Grandpa Pig says.
Peppa smiles. I love Hanukkah, she says. Happy Hanukkah.
Hanukkah is the festival of lights. It is celebrated in the Hebrew month of Kislev, which usually falls in November or December. People celebrate Hanukkah in lots of different ways. They always celebrate the miracle of light. On Hanukkah, a special candle holder called a menorah is used. On the first night, only one candle is lit. On the second night, only 2. By the 8th night, all candles are lit. The candle in the middle of the menorah is called a shamash. That means helper in Hebrew. People use this candle to light the other ones from right to left. Many families eat latkes, jelly donuts and other food that's covered in oil to remember the oil that burned for 8 days. Families also play dreidel or spinning top. This can be played with candy, cookies or even gold coins. Some families also give gifts on each night of Hanukkah. Often those gifts include money or donations for those who need it. The end. Peppa Pig, the best pet. Peppa and her friends have pets. But whose pet is the best? Peppa has a pet fish.
Wow!
Is a fish the best pet? Pedro has a pet stick bug. Is a stick bug the best pet? Edmund has a pet lizard.
Wow.
Is a lizard the best pet? Zoe has a pet monkey. Is a monkey the best pet? Dr. Hamster has a pet turtle. She wins.
Hooray!
She has the best pet turtle. Peppa wins. She has the best pet fish.
Hooray!
Zoe wins. She has the best pet monkey.
Hooray!
Yes, yes, yes. All of the pets are the best. The end. Peppa Pig, Creepy Cobwebs. Look at all the cobwebs. Mummy Pig says that cobwebs mean spiders, and spiders are creepy. Peppa likes creepy things. When it gets dark, she makes scary faces with her torch. What else is scary? A wiggly worm? Fizzing fireworks? Or a rocket ride to the moon? At the museum, George meets a very scary dinosaur. Luckily, it is only a robot. Even Daddy Pig gets the creeps sometimes. Don't worry, it's only Mr. Skinny Legs. And if things ever get too scary, Mummy Pig is there to give everybody a big piggy cuddle. The end. Peppa Pig, Peppa's Royal Party. Peppa and her family were very excited when Mr. Zebra, the postman, arrived with a special letter. "This is for you, Mummy Pig," he said. "It has a crown on it. I think it must be from the Queen."
Wow.
Mummy Pig opened the envelope very carefully. "What does it say?" cried Peppa. "It's an invitation," said Mummy Pig. "The Queen is giving me an award for the book I wrote.
Wow.
She has invited us and her friends to her Platinum Jubilee garden party."
Hooray!
"Oh, goody," said Peppa. "What's a Platinum Jubilee party?" "It's a special party to celebrate the Queen having been Queen for 70 years, explained Daddy Pig. "Wow," gasped Peppa. "She must be nearly as old as you, Daddy." Daddy Pig chuckled. "Almost," he said. Peppa phoned her friends to invite them to the Queen's party. "There will be lots of guests," Peppa told Rebecca Rabbit.
Wow.
"I'll ask my mummy to pack a giant picnic,"
said Rebecca.
"The Queen has a big garden,"
Peppa told Susie Sheep.
"We should take some games to play." "Yippee!" cried Susie. "I'll do that." "What should I wear?"
asked Danny Dog.
"Your smartest clothes," said Peppa, "and bring boots for jumping in puddles." "I know just what to pack,"
said Freddy Fox. The Queen sent a big red bus to take everyone to the palace. "Are you sure we need all these bags?" asked Danny Pig. You can't turn up to a royal party without bringing anything, said Mummy Pig. That'd be very rude. Oh, very true, said Daddy Pig. We wouldn't want to be rude. Peppa and her friends made up a song on their way to the palace. They sang it very loudly. It's the royal party today, let's sing all the way. It's the royal party today, hip hip hooray. As the bus got closer to the palace, there were lots of people setting up their own garden parties for the Queen's Jubilee. Peppa and her friends tried to do special little royal waves. Lots of people are celebrating with the Queen today, said Daddy Pig. When they arrived at the palace, everyone was very excited. I think there will be a giant chocolate fountain, whispered Susie. 70 giant chocolate fountains, said Freddie. I think she will have an enormous gold cake, whispered Peppa. 70 enormous gold cakes, said Freddie. The doors opened and they were led out to the palace gardens. They were surprised to see no food or drinks or games. Hello there, said the Queen. Thank you for coming. I'm afraid we had a slight hiccup. Sorry to hear you have hiccups, Your Majesty, said Peppa. No, I'm quite all right, replied the Queen. It's my party planner. He got the date muddled up. He thought the Jubilee was tomorrow, so we cannot have my party today. Oh no! Everyone gasped. But you must have your party, Your Majesty, said Peppa. Must I? Asked the Queen. Oh yes, said Peppa. The whole country is waiting to celebrate with you. I'm not sure I can, said the Queen. I don't have any party things. We've brought some with us. What do you need? Asked Peppa. That's very kind, but we need an awful lot, said the Queen. Food for all the guests. My mummy sent this picnic for everyone, said Rebecca, unpacking a giant picnic with plates of cakes, sandwiches and jellies. My dad packed these teapots and chairs, said Freddie. They're made of real fake gold. This picnic looks wonderful, said the Queen, but what will we do other than eat and drink? I don't have any games. I have these, Your Majesty, said Susie, who had 3 big boxes of garden games. Wow! Will they be okay? What fun, said the Queen. Yes, they will do quite nicely. Peppa and her friends pulled out balloons, bunting, and even a music box from their bags. Soon the garden was transformed into a royal party fit for a queen. How extraordinary, said the Queen. You have brought everything one needs for a royal party. You could say we pulled it out of the bag, ma'am, said Daddy Pig. When the other guests started to arrive, they were very impressed. It looks wonderful, they said. This is the best Jubilee ever. The Queen presented Mummy Pig with her award. Then everyone tucked into the picnic. But as they finished eating... Oh no, gasped the Queen. I believe it's raining. Whatever shall we do? Don't worry, said Peppa. I've got an idea. Peppa whipped out a pair of boots with a crown on them and pointed at a muddy puddle. I brought a spare pair of boots for you, Your Majesty. How delightful, Peppa, said the Queen. "I dare say a royal party is not a royal party without some muddy puddle jumping." "3 cheers for the Queen! And Peppa!" everyone cried. That evening, everyone sat down to watch the Queen make a speech. "I would like to thank Peppa Pig," said the Queen. "Without her help, my Platinum Jubilee would not have gone ahead. I am giving her the Queen's Award for Royal Party Planning." "One does love a royal party," said Mummy Pig. Everyone loves a royal party. The end.
Hi kids, did you have fun watching this video? Then like and subscribe for more.